This is Do-Rag Wisdom, and this is 5 days after the coup d'etat that took over our humane government, or our relatively humane government. And now, the fight must begin in earnest. We are in a cold civil war. We have been cheated. The election was rigged, that's right. These right-wing Republican turds use all kinds of Orwellian 1984 inksock techniques to undermine our freedoms. And one of the things they use, of course, is doublethink. So just remember, when Donald Trump calls somebody a crook, he's the crook. When somebody says that, when he says something like, the election is rigged, it is rigged in his favor, in Republicans' favors. They've been gerrymandering. They've been, to assure that their side, the House of Representatives, will be continually in the hands of these racist right-wing turds. They tried to mess with the vote because the right-wing Supreme Court gutted some of the Voting Rights Act. They've been trying to, they used the FBI, and I have no love for the FBI, an organization that, among other things, spied on Dr. Martin Luther King, tried to ruin the life of Malcolm X, and of course they railroaded an innocent man by the name of Leonard Peltier, an American Indian, for a murder he did not commit. He's been spending the last 40, 50 years in prison, whatever it is, a life in prison in a federal penitentiary. Wonderful, right? And that's the FBI for you. We have a little secret police. It is time for us, ladies and gentlemen, to fight in this cold civil war before it turns hot, because I'm afraid it's going to turn hot. And like some of the things I'm going to say to you now, I've said before, but, you know, I'll try to modify it, but I'm depending on everybody to protest. To protest, like I said before, dissent. Jack Reed, the man that wrote The 10 Days That Shook the World, he believed in this idea of dissent. You live in a free country, but this country will be undermined every step of the way by the totalitarians. Be aware of the racist roots of the Electoral College. Go on the internet. There's some articles on there that they're part of the reasons that we have this so-called Electoral College was to satisfy slave owners like Thomas Jefferson. Because what they did was they wanted to make their slaves eligible to be counted as part of the vote, and yet you're not allowing these people to vote, so they made them 3/5 persons. And they sucked that into the Electoral College. So you should know there's a slave root, there's a racist root to this Electoral College. Hillary Clinton won by 400,000 or so votes. She won the popular vote. She should be president, even though I can't stand her either, but she should be president and not this dictator bastard Adolf Hitler Trumpler. You've got to protest everything this bastard does. I congratulate all the people that have been taking to the streets. I hope that we can challenge this election once again to keep this bastard and his crew of racist alt-right dictators from taking and co-opting our country and making of it something that we've never seen before. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to see over 1 million people at the inauguration protesting. One of the greatest things you can do is organize protests to take place on Inauguration Day against that bastard. Now, whatever way you want to organize it, if you need me to donate money, I'm not a rich person, but I will gladly donate to sponsor somebody, anybody to go there to protest, to wreak havoc against these bastards who are threatening our country. Now, I take the Republicans at their word. And everything this scumbag Don Trump said. I remember his making fun of the handicapped. I remember him being racist. I remember him with the Mexicans, calling Mexicans and Latinos rapists. I remember how he insulted the Gold Star family. I remember everything this turd has said, building the wall, nationwide stop and frisk, messing with the newspapers. Ladies and gentlemen, start donating money to all, like the ACLU, who's going to be very, very busy, to the Southern Poverty Law Center. Start donating to all these different causes. Support them. If these Trumpian cops want to come and do stop and frisk, surround the person that's being the cops, everybody, surround them and stop them from stopping and frisking people. Look, if they gang up on one guy to stop and frisk him and 50 people surround them, they're going to have a hard time doing it. Obstruct, obstruct, obstruct. Make sure that your political representatives are going to make sure that this scumbag is a one-term president. You got to make sure that he does not nominate any members of the Supreme Court. You've got to make sure these representatives, these so-called Democrats, obstruct, obstruct, obstruct. We've got to fight to get dark money out of our politics. We got to fight to eliminate Citizens United. We got to fight to get rid of this racist, generated electoral college. And we've got to stand up and protest every single thing that this bastard is going to try to do, and he will try to do it. The one thing you got to remember about the Republicans, unlike the Democrats, they will keep their word. When they say they're going to screw you, they are going to screw you. Men, women, children, everyone, they're going to scapegoat people. They're going to try to hamstring the press. They're going to try to destroy the Supreme Court, as the Republican Party has been trying to do forever, to destroy our federal government. Put the powers back into the states so they could murder Emmett Till again, okay? Because you put power back in the states. The KKK loves state rights, so they could take and murder Emmett Till again, another Emmett Till, wherever they are. So I want to see you folks rise up. I want to see over 1 million people at that inauguration in the streets protesting that piece of shit, who should never be elected, who never should have been elected to be the leader of this country. He is a psychopath, a crook, a filthy coward, a schoolyard bully. And this person, this American, will never, ever, ever support him, his ilk, the GOP. They are traitors. Everything they have said about Hillary Clinton, everything they say about liberals, that is on them. They are the crooks. They are the fiends. I want to see 1 million people out there on Inauguration Day. You got to be in this man's face, this monster's face, every step of the way. And this next 2 years until the midterms is going to be a fight like you wouldn't believe. This is Do-Rag Wisdom. Watch this space.